In 1995 Berlin, after a woman who had spent the night with Michael Berg suddenly left his apartment, Michael watched a U-Bahn pass by, creating a flashback to a 1958 tram ride. In flashback, when he was 15 years old, little Michael feels sick while wandering the streets. Stopping next to an apartment building, Michael vomited. A tram conductor named Hanna Schmitz lived there, cleaning for Michael and helping Michael get home. Michael, diagnosed with scarlet fever, recuperates at home until he recovers, and then visits Hanna with flowers to thank her. Hanna, 36, seduced Michael, and they began dating. They spend a lot of time together having sex in Hanna's apartment, after which Hanna asks Michael to read the literature that Michael is studying. After a bike ride with Michael, Hanna learns that she's been promoted to a clerical job at the tram headquarters, after which Hanna abruptly leaves the company and her home, without telling Michael or anyone else where is she or why she left. In 1966, Michael was studying at the University of Heidelberg Law School. As part of a special seminar, the students observed a trial, similar to the Auschwitz trial in Frankfurt, of several women who were guards under the Nazi regime being accused of so that 300 women and Jewish children die in a burning church at Auschwitz concentration camp near Krakow, Poland. Michael was shocked to see Hanna as one of the defendants. Key evidence in the trial was the testimony of Ilana Mather, the author of a memoir regarding the fact that she and her mother named Rose, who also testified, survived. That Ilana described how Hanna let the women in the camp read to Hanna at night. Hanna, unlike the other defendants, admitted that Auschwitz was an extermination camp and that 10 women she chose each month were killed by gas poisoning. However, she denied being the author of a report that said the church fire in the concentration camp was an irreversible accident. The other defendants then colluded with each other to lie to blame Hanna for writing the report. Hanna asserted that all the guards present at the time agreed with the contents of the report, but when asked to provide a handwriting sample, she admitted the accusation rather than complying with the handwriting check. Michael belatedly realizes Hanna's secret: she is illiterate, a fact she has hidden all her life. Therefore, the other defendants accused Hanna of being the leader of the group and the author of the report to deny guilt. Michael told the law professor about that fact, but since Hanna herself chose not to reveal it, the professor didn't know what to do to help Hanna. Michael went to the prison to visit Hanna, but eventually changed his mind and left the prison without seeing her. Hanna received a life sentence for admitting her leadership role in those church deaths. Meanwhile, the other defendants were only sentenced to 4 years and 3 months in prison each. Michael, during that time, became involved in a romance with his classmate, with whom he married and shared a daughter, but the two eventually divorced each other. After retrieving his own books from his and Hanna's childhood home, Michael began reading and recording them. Then he sent it to Hanna. Gradually, Hanna began to borrow books from the prison library and taught herself to read and write by listening to Michael's tapes and comparing books. Hanna began writing back to Michael, first with brief, childlike notes, and as time went on, her letters reflected her slowly improving literacy. In 1988, a prison official called Michael to ask for his help with Hanna's socialization process after she was released early for her good re-education. Because Hanna had no family or relatives, Michael found and prepared a place for Hanna to live and even found her a job. Michael visits Hanna before she is released. During their meeting, Michael appears aloof and asks Hanna what she's learned from her past. Hanna only replied, "It doesn't matter how I feel and what I think. A dead person is still dead." Michael arrives at the prison on the day Hanna is released with flowers, but only to learn that Hanna has hanged herself. She left a tea box with cash inside and a note asking him to deposit the money in a bank account for Ilana, who wrote a memoir about her horrifying experiences in the concentration camp that Hanna read. Michael travels to New York City, where he meets Ilana and recounts his relationship with Hanna and its lasting impact. He told her about Hanna's suicide note and illiteracy. Ilana did not agree with Michael that there is nothing to be learned from the camps and refuses the money, and Michael suggests that the money should be donated to any Jewish welfare organization that deals with literacy. Ilana rejects Michael's attempts, but says that she will keep the tea box because it resembles her item stolen at Auschwitz. The film ends with Michael driving his daughter Julia to Hanna's grave and telling her their story.